while I was digging through the contracts trying to figure out what I was going to do today, I came across this contract to reposition Octo 3 into an adjusted orbit of Earth. And I thought, that might be an interesting one to kind of start with. So this is something we launched quite some time ago. It's up here, kind of measuring out Earth's magnetic field. It's got the magnetometer boom and it's got a radiation detector aboard. And it is in this very kind of elliptical orbit. I did that so that it would cross through the various magnetic fields. And it wants me to put it into this adjusted orbit, which if you turn it this way, you can see it's in the same plane. What we're changing is the argument of the periapsis. We're kind of taking the whole orbit and we're just kind of swinging it. The value of the apoapsis is remaining the same as is the periapsis. We just want to twist the whole orbit to the left here. And I thought that might be an interesting exercise just to kind of start this with. Now, if you're going to pick up a contract like these, one of these adjust the orbit contracts, what you want to make sure is that you have enough delta V aboard. So before well, actually that's not true. I saved the game, because if you don't save the game, you don't get to see this orbit here. And then I came out here, then I accepted the contract and I popped out here and I noticed here I have 1,086 meters per second of delta V aboard. And I worked out what it would take just by placing a maneuver node. And worked out that I had plenty. But you definitely want to do that before accepting the contract for real. And that's why I saved the game first, in case it didn't work out. I could revert back and have not accepted the contract ever at all. Other thing we want to get into today is one of the contracts I was looking at was to orbit the moon. So what I'm thinking about is creating a science gathering satellite to get in orbit of the moon. And kind of the main impetus behind this is I want to build a better, I have a launch vehicle that can carry a single Kerbal into space. I want to create a better one, but for that I need to unlock better capsules, and for that I do need to, I can get this out, for that I do need to have science unlocked. And one of the motivating things about this is, and this isn't going to happen today, but I thought I'd show, I got here, TFSM389's wreckage. He's in need of a rescue. I don't have a vehicle capable of getting out to there, so I want to deal with that as well. And one last thing before we get started with all of this. I think we're okay. We're still 4 minutes away. Actually, let's do this first. I'll have to remind the other thing. So where you want to do this maneuver is right where the two orbits cross. So that's going to be right here. And this orbit, this is going to be a lot of radial. That's what's going to end up giving us this twisting effect here. And if you look, we're coming in like this. So we need to, from left to right on your screen, we need to pull the orbit this way. So that's going to be the radially in vector. See how it kind of pulls it that way? Now, as I do that, I'm undoubtedly affecting my apoapsis. You can see it moving outward. So you also have to simultaneously add some retrograde. So it's going to be a combination of radially in and retrograde till I get, that should be all I need to do, until I get it to make sure I don't actually hit the craft. Well, see, that's what happens. So I pulled a bit on the normal one. What's really nice with the little widgety tool is I can go down here and I can literally just go in here and type a 0 in for the normal. Unfortunately, it also thinks I'm doing that. Okay, where are we at? Let's put this back. Okay, so radially this way. Again, retrograde. Shouldn't take long. But all of a sudden I was looking, I was going to talk about something else, and I noticed we are kind of coming up to where we need to be here. Retrograde again, a little bit of normal. Look at that, we're very, very close. Maybe switch it over to the little widgety tool thing. A little bit of normal in, a little bit of retrograde. I'm pretty sure if you just eyeball it and you're matching it, you're there. That's going to be there. So this is got to be burned in about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So we're going to get ourselves ready for that. But while we're waiting for that to come up, I do want to welcome aboard my most recent YouTube member, and that is Peter von Throsta. Thank you very much, Peter. I always like to recognize my most recent either Patreon patron or YouTube member. So welcome aboard, Peter. And of course, a very, very welcome or very, very heartfelt thanks to all of the people who support this channel through Patreon or through simply just Patreon or YouTube memberships, or for that matter, liking and subscribing and all of that kind of stuff too, if direct membership is not the thing you want to go for. So I'm just sort of positioning this onto, this is an old probe. It's been here for a while. The only reaction wheels are in the probe body here in the middle. So I'm just getting it onto our vector here. And we'll get this adjusted. And then we'll get our burn, or we'll get down and launch that other satellite. Oh, I can see I have the throttle limiter down. I want to pump that. What's my TWR on this thing? 1.9. Oh, that's why I turned the throttle limiter down. Okay, that's good. It's all fine. Oh, somebody was asking about the moon's orbit. Yeah, the moon is in a inclined orbit. You can see that. It's interestingly very close to the inclination of these orbits, which actually is sort of a coincidence, but not entirely a coincidence. I'll talk about that maybe later. Should probably retract this. So retract. Let's retract that. I don't know if that affects the center of mass or not, but I'd prefer not to find out in the middle of the burn. Whether it models the mass being suddenly way out here. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go. Oh, whoa. It's having a bit of, it's a little bit unbalanced, this fella. Like riding a little bit of a bucking bronco here. I maybe should have started the burn a little earlier and kept the throttle down, but it seems to be okay. Sort of fighting with it a little bit. And I don't necessarily have to get this down to 0 on the maneuver. If this, let's reduce the throttle. If this requirement here goes green, then we're good. I can cut the throttle at that point. So I'm just looking at the white lettering over here. There, it seems to be staying on there relatively. Oh, I think it's good. Nope, that was just the antenna and generate power part. There it is. It's just gone green, and then it's the obligatory 10 seconds. And for this, I'm going to get 34,000 curb bucks and 4 reputation for doing almost nothing. There we go. Contract complete. Excellent.